I won her heart and lost it in one night. R/True off my chest format, 15,000 characters including spaces. 2, 500 words. Part 1. We weren't supposed to happen. I never meant to fall for her. We started out as co-workers. That's all it was. I was a barista trying to pay off student loans and avoid a total mental breakdown. She was the new girl, quiet, bookish, pretty in that doesn't know she's pretty kind of way. Her name was Sarah, and the first time she walked behind the counter, she apologized to the espresso machine. No joke. Sorry, she mumbled when she bumped it. I laughed. She blushed. I didn't think much of it at first. I was dating someone. We'll get to her later. But day after day, Sarah and I worked the same shifts. Same playlists. Same rude customers. Same inside jokes about regulars. One guy ordered a Venti Decaf triple shot sugar-free caramel latte with skim milk, extra hot, no foam. We called him Lord Valdrink. I'd never felt more comfortable around someone. She made jokes at my expense, challenged me to drink contests with expired matcha, brought me homemade cookies because she thought I looked like I ate sadness. She didn't flirt. That's what made it worse. She just was. And somehow, that was enough to stick under my skin like a splinter. Meanwhile, my relationship with Rachel was crumbling. We'd been together since sophomore year of college, inertia, mostly. We fought over stupid things, then big things. Then we stopped fighting altogether. She started sleeping in another room. I started working extra shifts. It was like we both forgot how to try. Sarah and I started texting outside of work, first about schedule changes, then memes, then books, then life. We'd text late. Like late. Midnight turned into 3 a.m. Some nights I'd find myself staring at my phone, waiting for her to reply. When she finally did, it felt like oxygen. I didn't cheat. Not technically. But I felt guilty. Like I was living in two parallel timelines. One where I was the responsible, committed boyfriend, and one where I was falling for a girl who laughed like she didn't care who hurt her. Then one night, it happened. It was after a double shift, middle of February. Cold, gross, the kind of day where the sky looks like wet cement. I offered Sarah a ride home because her Uber canceled. She hesitated, then nodded. She lived across town, so it was a 20-minute drive. We didn't talk much. Just some quiet music and the occasional, "This weather sucks." When we pulled up to her apartment, she looked at me for just a second too long. I should have just said goodnight. Instead, I said, "You want to come over? I've got whiskey and way too much leftover pizza." She stared at me. "What about Rachel?" I froze. "She's out of town." "That's not what I asked." Silence. And then she said, "No, but thank you." That "no" hit harder than I expected. A week passed. Things were tense. At work, she barely made eye contact. I felt like a creep, like I'd messed up something good. So I backed off. Focused on my relationship. Tried to patch things with Rachel. But something had shifted. One night, I got a text from Sarah. "Can I tell you something?" I stared at the screen for a full minute before replying. "Always," she called. Not text, called. Her voice was shaking. "I think I'm falling for you," she said. "And I hate it. Because I know I can't have you. And I don't want to be that person. But I also can't keep pretending like I'm okay." I sat in silence. Because I was falling too. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about Sarah. Her laugh. The way she always smelled like lavender and espresso. The way she actually listened to me, unlike Rachel, who'd started treating me like background noise. But guilt's a funny thing. You can ignore it when it's quiet. But when it screams, it owns you. So I did the right thing. I told Rachel the next day that I thought we should take a break. She didn't argue, just nodded and said, "It's about time." I told Sarah. Her reaction? Tears, relief, fear. All of it tangled in one shaky breath. "What does this mean?" she asked. "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I want to find out." And for 3 months we did. It was perfect. I'm not exaggerating. It was the kind of honeymoon phase that made me nauseous with happiness. Weekend trips, movie nights, long talks under the stars. We even went to a bookstore cafe where she kissed me between the poetry shelves. It was a goddamn fairy tale. Until it wasn't. The night everything fell apart wasn't special. No big fight. No warning. We were at a friend's birthday party. She looked incredible. Red dress, hair up, smile that could murder gods. I was holding her hand when she froze. Across the room stood Rachel. I'd forgotten she was friends with my coworker's sister. Stupid, right? Rachel saw us. Locked eyes. Smiled. Then walked over. What happened next is the stuff of nightmares. Rachel leaned in, hugged me, then turned to Sarah. "So you're the girl who stole him?" Sarah flinched. "Excuse me?" Rachel sipped her drink. "Oh, don't play dumb. He used to text you while I was asleep next to him, didn't he?" I felt the air leave my lungs. Rachel turned back to me. "You didn't tell her that part, huh?" Sarah stepped back. "Is that true?" Sarah, Is that true?" I couldn't lie. "Yes." She walked out. Didn't scream. Didn't cry. She just left. And I haven't heard her voice since. Part 2 of 3. I stood there like an idiot. People stared. Some pretended not to. I must have looked like a deer in headlights, drink in hand, mouth slightly open, heart doing backflips inside my ribs. Sarah was gone. I pushed through the crowd, barely muttering apologies. My phone buzzed. Rachel. I didn't answer. Not now. Not after that stunt. It wasn't just petty. It was surgical. She knew exactly what to say, how to say it, and when. She knew how to dismantle me. And she didn't even raise her voice. I got outside. No Sarah. Her ride must have already picked her up. I called. Straight to voicemail. I texted. "Please, let me explain. You deserve to hear the truth from me." Nothing. For days I tried. I showed up to her apartment. I left notes. Flowers. I even reached out to one of her friends, who told me, politely but firmly, to leave Sarah alone. So I did. Because maybe that's what she needed. But silence? It's loud when you're the one left behind. Fast forward 3 weeks. My manager called me in for a chat. Said Sarah had quit. No notice. Just left a key and a post-it on the counter that read, "Take care of yourself." It crushed me. Work felt sterile without her. No shared smirks. No music debates. No quiet glances that said more than words ever could. Just the sound of steaming milk and too much time to think. I started replaying everything. Where I messed up. What I could have done differently. Was it the timing? The overlap with Rachel? The honesty that came too late? Probably all of it. I spiraled a bit, I'll admit. One night, I got drunk and called Rachel. Not to get back together. Just to, I don't know, make sense of it all. "Why did you do that?" She didn't hesitate. "Because you never chose me." "Not really. And I wanted her to see that before she made the same mistake I did." It was the closest she ever came to saying she loved me. I hung up. Weeks turned to months. Then I saw her again. At a bookstore, of all places. She looked different. Hair shorter. Confident. Stronger. She was with someone. He had his arm around her. She looked up at him and smiled. The same smile she used to give me when I'd tell a dumb joke. I froze. Turned. Walked out without buying anything. I didn't want to ruin whatever peace she'd built. She deserved it. Then last week, she texted me. "Do you have time to talk?" I stared at the screen for a long time. I typed, "Of course." Sent. And waited. We met at a diner. Neutral ground. Middle booth. She ordered chamomile tea. I got black coffee. Typical. She looked at me. Not angry. Not cold. Just human. Tired, maybe? "I'm not here to rehash everything," she said. "I just want to know one thing." I nodded. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "About the overlap. About Rachel. About everything." I opened my mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. "Because I was afraid you'd leave before I had a chance to show you how much you meant to me." She nodded slowly. Looked down. Stirred her tea. "I think you did love me," she said quietly. "But you love comfort more." Silence. Then she slid something across the table. A letter. Folded twice. "Don't open it until I leave." She stood, buttoned her coat, and left. Just like that. The letter? It wasn't angry. It wasn't sad. It was closure. She told me she was happy now. That she forgave me. That she hoped I would grow. That she didn't regret meeting me, only that it happened the way it did. She said goodbye. Part 3 of 3. When I got to my apartment, it felt hollow. The place still smelled faintly of her perfume. A half-empty bottle of her favorite red sat unopened on the counter. Her toothbrush was gone. The drawers she used to keep her spare clothes in were eerily neat, emptied, like she was never even here. I didn't sleep that night. Or the one after. Every message I sent went unanswered. Every call hit voicemail. I even walked by her workplace the next Monday, trying to act casual, hoping I'd bump into her, but she wasn't there. I think the worst part was the silence. Not a fight, not a dramatic breakup, just a void. It made me question if I ever knew her at all. A week passed before I saw her again. It was totally random. I'd gone to get coffee near the university where I used to TA, and there she was. Sitting outside, laptop open, typing furiously like the world didn't just fall apart. I froze. She didn't see me at first, so I had this second where I could just leave. Walk away, pretend I never saw her. But I didn't. I couldn't. I walked over, heart pounding in my chest like a damn drumline. "Sarah?" I said, barely above a whisper. She looked up. I can't describe the look on her face. It wasn't shock or anger. It was tired. Like seeing me just drained her. "I figured you'd try to find me," she said calmly, closing her laptop. "I needed to talk to you," I stammered. I didn't know what happened. You just disappeared." She nodded slowly. "I did." A beat of silence. "You just left," I continued. "After everything. You left without a word, Sarah." She let out a sigh. "Because if I said goodbye, I would have stayed." That hit harder than I expected. We sat in silence for a bit. The hum of traffic and distant chatter filled the space between us. "I didn't lie to you," I finally said. "I was never with Claire like that. Not emotionally. I didn't sleep with her. It was just—" She held up a hand. "I know you didn't sleep with her," she said. "That's not what broke me." I blinked. "Then what did?" "It was the fact that you could lie so easily. That you thought I wouldn't notice. That you didn't even give me the courtesy of the truth when I asked you directly." I swallowed hard. "You looked me in the eyes and gaslit me," she said. That's worse than cheating. And there it was. The thing I'd been avoiding, the real root of the problem. It wasn't the hug. It wasn't Claire. It was me. My cowardice. My inability to admit I screwed up in the moment, to face her pain head-on. I thought I was protecting you, I said. Her expression didn't change. No. You were protecting yourself. She was right, of course. After a long pause, I asked, "So what now?" She looked at me like she was seeing a memory, not a person. "I'm not angry anymore," she said. "But I can't go back to who I was with you. I don't trust you. And I'm not going to pretend I can just reset that." I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. "I still love you," I admitted. She smiled, softly, sadly. "That's the hard part. I still love you too. But sometimes love isn't enough." And just like that, she stood, gathered her laptop, and walked away. It's been 6 months since that day. I haven't dated anyone else. I tried, but every first date ends in some version of me comparing her to Sarah. I started therapy. It's not magic, but it's helping. I'm learning things about myself I wish I'd known before I met her. Things I wish I could tell the version of me from a year ago. The scared, insecure guy who thought that one tiny omission wouldn't matter. I still think about her every day. Sometimes I replay that last conversation in my head, wondering if I could have said something different, something that would have changed the ending. But mostly, I think I needed to lose her to understand the cost of dishonesty. It's not always the betrayal itself that ends things. Sometimes it's the slow erosion of trust from a single selfish decision. A single night. A single lie. So yeah, I won her heart. And I lost it in one night. I'm trying to become the kind of man who wouldn't make the same mistake twice. Not because I hope she'll come back, but because next time, if there ever is a next time, I want to be worthy of love that deep. Thanks for reading. If you've made it this far, I don't know if I deserve your empathy, but I appreciate your time. Stay honest out there. use /thrower_lost_in_love.